Reploids. Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Ramblin Reploids. My name is ColemanX, and today, as always, I'm joined with...
Twitch from Reploid Revo. How's it going, everybody?
Today's episode was once again brought to you by SilBee, so thank you, SilBee.
Thanks a lot, bro.
And the topic is favorite Mega Man X levels. So we decided to have a little fun with it, and we picked one from each game, and we're gonna take turns and see what the other person picked, because people have some unexpected choices. Because like, oh, you like that level, or oh, I love that level. So we'll see. And I will bring us in right now with X1. And the level I chose is the Factory Stage, also known as the Prototype Weapons Plant, also known as Flame Mammoth. Because it's a mammoth. Mammoth. So, there's a lot of fun things about this level. Like, I love when it's frozen over. There's just so many more options, because you can just, like, go on the floor, and just, like, be a super cool dude. And then when you get to the big open area, it's like, there's just power-ups everywhere. You know, there's a capsule, there's a sub-tank up there, there's a heart down over there. You know, it's just this really cool place. And then the capsule heart being, or the capsule sub-tank jump being kind of tough is actually really fun, because it's, you know, it's one of those things that as a kid you would like practice and practice, then finally get it, and you would like tell somebody like, "No, I can't get up there." You know, it was one of those types of things. But the next section is another crusher section, but after that, the area with the pipes, that is like probably my favorite section in the whole game, just because if you get it just right, it's so smooth, just how like the enemies are placed, and you can just like just go right through it. It's really, really fun. But yeah, and it's a fun boss fight. I like the moving floor. You know, there's a lot going for this level, and I don't think enough people talk about it.
Yeah, I personally really like the Flame Mammoth stage because when you play it, you can actually speed through it pretty neat. When there's like some nice movement involved when you play through it, just because there's so many. It's a lot of moving forward and not a whole lot of backtracking, and so it all kind of comes down to like your reaction. I like the power-up placements. I think that's really cool. I like that there's, you know, I just like that where the upgrades are placed, like you mentioned. They're pretty. It's interesting because they're all kind of in like one centralized area, but each one is still pretty well hidden. And I also like the stage interactivity, like when you beat Chill Penguin and like it freezes over the stage. I just think that's really cool. A neat effect, because it's like, oh man, this lava that was, you know, kicking my ass is now frozen over and like no longer a thing. Like, it's funny because whenever I play it, I haven't seen the lava pillars in that stage in like years, because I always beat Chill Penguin first.
Right.
But you know, it's cool that that's like an added layer of interactivity. Personally, my favorite thing about it is that you can jump up into the tubes where the enemies are falling out of.
Yes, you know, I was gonna bring that up, because like that brings on like one of the funnest visual glitches in the game. Because if you go forward enough in the stage to get to where the capsule is, and then go back and then go into the tube, and then go forward, you get what I like to call the skull capsule. Because it tries to make a capsule out of assets that, you know, shouldn't be a part of it, and it looks really cool. I'm like, oh, it's like a skull, it's really neat. And then you keep going forward, and you can see the sub-tank, and it's just like a weird Mega Man X that animates with you, but it's a sub-tank. It's really strange, and I love it.
Yeah, overall the stage is really cool. I love the stage pieces, like the crushers. There's just a lot of moving parts in the stage that it doesn't just feel like stage hazards that hurt you. They feel like actual functioning machinery. And I think that's cool. Like the crushers that like literally smash enemies into like a flattened pancake of an enemy. Like,
Yeah.
that's kind of cool. Like, it actually does that. Like, that's neat.
Well, and the Crushers have a connection to at least Launch Octopus because it's the head of the snake, the water snake.
Yeah,
enemies?
you're seeing the oh my god, what is his name?
Are they called Ouroboros?
I think it's called Ouroboros. But it's that thingy. It's the head of the sea serpent in Launch Octopus stage, and I need to go take a look at it. Which, let me go pull this up right now. I think the other guy that shoots at you looks very similar to the road attacker enemy. Like the little dudes in the cars.
Oh, the car guys. Yeah, yeah.
I'm not sure if it is. I don't know. Let me see.
Maybe it's the little Mega Man X clones that pilot the ride armors.
I think they have a different head, actually. But let me take a look at this enemy here. No, it's a different guy. Yeah, the little laser dude that shoots you is not the same as the guy that's in the car. But they're kind of similar because they both have like the single red eye. And I know the ones that pilot the ride armors also have an eye, but they're different. I don't know.
Maybe it's like a third version because the car one and the ride armor ones are
probably
pretty similar. So it's like they're, like maybe they start out as that one and then they're upgraded to either car or, you know what I mean? Like they start off as the same thing.
Yeah, what did they look like when they're complete and not just like trash?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, do you think Zero ended up in that stage after he beat the game? Just because it's like a torso. I'm sorry, that's horrible, but it's still funny though.
Wait, what happens to Zero? I've never played this game.
Oh my god, yeah, who knows what happens to Zero? I don't know. Probably nothing.
Yeah, probably. I'm sure he's fine.
He's fine. It's just a flesh wound.
But yeah, that's the Mammoth. You can cut his trunk off. Give it a try. It looks like a bat pig.
Yeah, that's another thing. Cut off his trunk using a boomerang cutter. Hit him right in the schnoz. It's cool.
Schnozola.
Schnozola. So since it is my turn next, and we're gonna move on to the next X game, I'm gonna go with the X2 intro stage.
It's a good one.
I really like this stage. It's got a lot of hype. I think it's super cool that you start off the stage riding in with our awesome timeless hero, Green Biker Dude. That is like the coolest thing ever. The music is really hype, and like the intro kind of syncs up with like the music. It's playing this like really intense like thumping beat. As you're riding in on like the ride chaser, like dun 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 dun. It's got like this galloping kind of feel to it.
Yes, then you crash your bike into that dude.
Yeah, you jump off and you crash your bike into that guy, and like you blow up his legs or whatever. Here's the thing:
it's so cool.
Do we ever see that version of that enemy ever again, or was like
I do not believe so.
So like they made up an entirely new sprite, or an entirely new entity just for this intro stage, just so X can crash his bike into it, which is cool.
It works. It's so cool.
There's like the lasers flying at you coming out of the base. Like there's the panning background. Like it's just so cool. You're going through a weapons factory and there's like parts moving and like you can actually watch enemies be like assembled as you're going down like the assembly line, which I think is super cool. Like, I don't know, the whole thing, again, really, really good stage interaction. It's not just like an obstacle course to get through. There's things that are in the stage that feel like they should naturally be there, which I think is something that most people don't consider. But if the stage doesn't feel natural, it just kind of becomes a stage, It's better that if you're going to place a stage somewhere, make sure you have stage elements and gimmicks that play off of it. And so this stage has a whole lot of that. I don't know, it's just a cool stage. The music is great, and like you just watching enemies be assembled, and the claw grabber thingy that looks like the helmet from X1 for some reason picks you up. And
it does.
It swings you across the pit, and like that's kind of cool. And like I don't know, it's a good stage, and I just really like it. And I like the idea that you're infiltrating a weapons factory, and then you get to the center primary warehouse, and there's just like a giant maverick there that you need to destroy, which is not something that we've seen before. This, humongous thing, and of course X, beats the crap out of it easily because, it's an intro boss, and Well, how did you put it that one conversation? He stands on the head like we're like posing for a school picture.
Oh yeah, yeah.
We'll have to throw that picture in there just for this because it's relevant. Yeah, I don't know. I really like that stage. I like that the right armor is used in a cool way, and then like you see the right armor come back later in the Overdrive Ostrich stage. I like that you see other Maverick Hunters, or I guess one Maverick Hunter, who's in there doing a cavalry charge with you. Like that's, I don't know.
Yeah.
Just, that one stage packs a lot of info, and I really like it. That's my favorite thing about it.
I'm really glad you picked that level because in X2, that's the stage that I like to run the most. Like back when I just wasn't doing anything on YouTube, like I would just play that stage over and over because I wanted to record like a pretty decent time. Like I wasn't into like, I don't think I even knew what speedrunning was. But it was like, I know this stage like really well. It's short, and all you got to do is reset the game if you want to try again. So I would do that and just played it over and over. Now it's like the stage that I can do the best. And it's super fun. It's so fluid. It just has like a really good, like it's like eating spaghetti. Like you're slurping it up and you don't even got to worry about it. It's just you do it and then you fight the big meatball at the end, and it's great.
The big meatball.
I'm hungry, I'm sorry. Join us next time on Ramblin Reploids.
Oh my god.
But yeah, I love the X2 intro stage. It's fantastic. We got anything else to add on about it?
Not necessarily. It's just one of my favorite stages. I just think it's just cool. I just love the way it flows. You feel like you're actually breaking into like a factory. You don't just like teleport into the stage. Like you actually see X ride in on a motorcycle hover bike thing. Like I don't know. It's just a lot of breaking a lot of conventions and making it look really good.
Yeah, perfect way to start a game because like X1 seems so like, if you didn't see the secret Sigma ending, it seems like so final, and then you buy or rent X2, and on the way home you're reading the instruction book. It's like 6 months later, there's still Mavericks being made, and you got to get in there, and just that anticipation. Then you turn it on, and then just that music's blasting at you, and then you're on the bike. Oh, it's so cool.
Yeah, it's really great. It has this kind of like triumphant feel to it too. Like, you're the Maverick Hunters and you're on the attack this time, and I like that feeling. The X1 intro stage music, which is still probably one of my favorite tracks ever, has a more desperate tone to it. It feels like the world is thrown into chaos and you're trying to handle it. But the X2 one feels definitely more like you're on the assault this time, and I really like that change in tone. It just really goes really well with the entire theme. Like, X is back, he's hunting down the X hunters, and he's putting Zero back. The whole game is just like yeah, you're kicking ass this time. You know what I mean? It's less on the defensive and more like you're on the offensive. Even like when you put Zero back together, like it's just very like aggressive. It's just like, yeah, well, you should have studied the plans closer, and it's just like, ooh, burn, like, like they just got their butts kicked, basically. So, I don't know, I like X2. It's kind of like a nice counter to X1, which is a more desperate situation, I would say. So yeah, and the intro stage encapsulates that.
Well, this is a seasoned X, like he's ready.
Oh yeah, he's had the time now. He can dash on his own without the upgrade.
Yep. Thanks, Dad.
Dad.
Well, moving on from the beginning of X2, I'm gonna go to the very final stage of X3. It's short. There's like hardly anything going on, but that kind of makes it because you look in the background and there are just Sigma bodies, everywhere, and that was, touched on earlier. Doppler was like, he has multiple bodies that he can inhabit. And you're like, oh crap, and then you see them, and then you just see this tiny little army of of mechanoids in front of you, and it's like this last line of defense, and it's like really small because you've torn through everything else, and I love just that feeling of, it's like, I'm at the end. This is all you got,
Right.
But it's still, you got Sigma looming behind you. It's like, oh god, here he comes. And then if you still have Zero, he meets you halfway and he's like, yo, I'm gonna blow up this wall, and I'm gonna take out the computers because I don't want to help. But, I like the idea of him, showing up. And then, you fight Sigma, and then you fight Big Sig, and then...
Is that his name, Big Sig?
It always is. And then, like, he floods the room with lava, and you gotta get out of there, and then, damn, it's a dead end, add one to the damn counter. And, then either Doppler or Zero drops down to save the day, and it's so cool, because, when Zero does it, it's like a callback to the first level, because X gets caught, and then Zero just, he's like, oh man, my homeboy senses are tingling, just crashes through the ceiling.
My homeboy senses are tingling.
Just crashes through the ceiling, like, he doesn't even care. I'm gonna fall 30 feet, it won't even hurt. And he just lands and then just does his thing. Like, I like that callback, but I still prefer the Doppler ending. Because, it's like, oh, what happened to... What happened to Doppler? Oh, he's dead. He sacrificed himself. That's his redemption role, It's all good stuff. It's a really good final stage, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I was gonna say, I like the Sigma body thing, too, because it's like, you're thinking, like, okay, so he's gonna, make bodies for Sigma, and then it's like, oh no, there's, like, hundreds of them. Like, it's less that he's gonna make more bodies for Sigma. It's like, there could be an army of Sigmas. There could be so many more, and it could be so much worse. And it really kind of puts in perspective how dire the situation is, which is interesting, because they kind of call back to that in X8 a little bit, when there's, like, all the Sigmas.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up.
It's kind of neat how they do that, and yeah, it's just overall really interesting, the feeling you get from that. And I also kind of like that after you beat Sigma, he's like, man, and he just floods everything with, like, lava. Like, I don't know, it's a dick move, but it's so, like, final boss-ish to be like, well, screw you, maybe you beat me, but I'm just going to flood the room, like, haha. Like, I don't know, it's kind of a neat thing that I've never seen a boss do before.
Fun fact about the Sigmas in the background. So in the betas that have been, publicly released in the past couple of years, Sigma has a different design. Like, it's the same design, but the art style is closer to his appearance in X1 and X2.
Yes. And
even the Sigmas in the background have that same art style, and it's really neat, and it's just a fun attention to detail. But one thing I wish happened, like as you get further in, like you get to the end of the hallway, and just one of those things you would see in the background that like just shattered, like he just got out of it or something.
Yeah,
I think that would have been pretty cool. That's the only time I've ever really thought about that. So maybe when they do Maverick Hunter X3, we'll see that.
Yeah, when we get there this summer in 2011. Yeah, I don't know. It's a good final stage. I really like that. I like final stages where it's like, okay, you beat the boss and you don't just teleport to the ending. It's almost kind of like, yeah, what does happen when you beat the game? Like, is it so simple? Like, shouldn't there be a little bit more going on? So I kind of like that. It's like, yeah, you beat him, but you got to get out of there. It kind of reminds me a little bit of like the Metroid escape sequences.
Well, yeah, that whole thing. Yeah, I was gonna bring that up with the broken Sigma tube. It's like Metroid 2 when you see the Metroid husks, because when they evolve, they shed their skin. It kind of reminded me of that when I was describing it. I was like, oh, that'd be so cool. We got an Omega Sigma coming.
Yeah, pretty much. I think it's a neat touch.
Yeah, that's what I got to say about X3.
So, moving on to the next game. X4 is a favorite of mine. And again, I'm gonna have to go with an intro stage. Now, the intro stage for X4 I think is super neat because you don't just start on the stage, you're given like a little bit of pretext at like the stage select screen, and you actually get to see X4 Zero like leave to go like handle it. And it's kind of cool. You get told where you're going, what's going on, and then you arrive on the scene and you get to see what's happening. And like it's cool because this game is so visually impressive coming from the Super Nintendo that it was just kind of like mind-blowing when I first saw it. There's this really expansive, kind of super impressive city going on. There's like all these details in the background. There's like, you know, like little hidden Capcom signs. The stage itself is more three-dimensional. A lot of things are very 2D in SNES Mega Man, but then now things are kind of like just kind of slightly tilted at an angle to give it a little bit more depth, which is kind of cool. You can see things like there's the I think it's Eregion or Eregion, the dragon. That's
Boobai's White Dragon?
Yeah, Boobai's White Dragon. Boobai's White Dragon is attacking the city, and, like, literally it will attack you during the stage, which is cool, because, like, that's the whole point of why you're there. And so there's this thing that's kind of floating behind and underneath you, and trying to hit, like, the highway, you know, thing that you're on, the roads that you're on. And it will, like, fly in the background and like smash through walls and things that are blocking your path if you're not careful. That's like super cool. Again, more really awesome, seamless stage interactivity and integration. It's just super cool. And it's also kind of telling a neat story because like all the doors that are closed are like blast doors for like keeping Mavericks out and stuff. So like that's a neat detail. Like why would they have these doors here? Oh yeah, of course. To make sure that, you know, no one can get through. You know, so like, you know, it's a security door. And then, of course, the giant Maverick is just like, boom, and just wrecks it. And, like, it can take swipes at you. It can, like, stick its claws, you know, up from underneath the road and try to, like, you know, take a stab at you that way. It's, like, really awesome. It's also got just, like, some of the best theme music in the entire game. I'm more partial to, X's intro stage music, which I think it just sounds better in my opinion, but it's also got Zero's, and Zero's is also really good, which sounds a little bit more badass in my opinion, but I like the tone that X's sets, and it's neat because I think this is the first time we get an intro, maybe the only time, no, X5 I think does it too, where we have a game that has two different intro stage musics, based on which character you pick, which I think is a really neat feature. I kind of like that. And yeah, it's kind of cool that you're traveling along through Sky Lagoon, trying to stop these Mavericks that are invading. There's the interactivity with Boobai's White Dragon and the blast doors. There's some unique enemies, which I think only appear on that stage, which is kind of a shame, because I would like to have seen them in other stages. And there's also a neat thing when you get to the end, it's a boss door, but instead of fighting a boss, it's another Maverick Hunter. And like you have a short little conversation with Magma Dragoon, and he's telling you like what happened and stuff, even though he's lying. And I know, right? Magma Dragoon, why would he lie? He looks so friendly. And I guess the only thing that bugs me about Sky Lagoon is I really want to see what the rest of that boss room looks like. Because you never actually get to see it. You walk in, it's exploding, and you stay at the door, and you never get to, like, walk forward enough to scroll the screen to see everything.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Which is a shame. I would like to see the whole background just to see what it looks like. And then, the cool thing is, like, it's exploding, and it's like, oh my god, Sky Lagoon, it's gonna crash! Which, by the way, we don't actually know what Sky Lagoon is, apparently. Like, I always thought it was, like, a floating city, and then there was, like, another city beneath it.
Yeah,
but apparently
that's how I always read it.
Apparently it's not well defined, and there's some debate over what Sky Lagoon actually is. And like I always thought Sky Lagoon was like a floating city above another city. And then there's some debate over it saying that Sky Lagoon is just like the highway that you're on, and the city below is like its own city. And so the thing that falls is not the city that you see in the background, but the platforms that you've been running on the whole time, and like the central building that you enter at the end. So like the jury's out apparently on what Sky Lagoon is, but the point is, it falls and just decimates the city below, and now you get to play in like a destroyed version of that city, and you get to see like the wreckage and like all this other stuff. And I feel like X4 was definitely like Evangelion inspired a little bit, because there's like moving platforms and like city blocks and things that like open up, and like elevators come up, and like things are shifting. Like, you know, like it's like a Tokyo 3 kind of situation where like prefabricated buildings just come up out of the ground and stuff. That's kind of what it looks like. It looks kind of, you know, similar to that, where there's just like parts of the city are like moving and rearranging in response to the trauma that it suffered. And it's just neat going through like a destroyed version of the place that you were just at, and then of course you get to the end and, you know, you finally confront Bubai's ultimate dragon. And it's another cool thing is that it has its own boss music. It's the only time that boss music is ever used in the game. And
yeah, it's a good song too.
On the soundtrack, it's specifically called a Region.
Oh, really? That's cool.
It's just named after the boss, which I don't even know where you would get the name of that boss, because, like, it's never said in the game, but it's probably in the manual somewhere. But yeah, there's just a lot of cool elements.
One thing I really like about that level is when you're in the first section, when you get right to the end, like right before the boss door, they're just like a ton of enemies. Like, it's just panic, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it really sells that, oh, everyone here's about to die, you know? Because, like, everybody's just in a mad dash to get out of there.
It's a little bit like that at the beginning, too, where it's not like, it's not like they're escaping so much, but, like, you can see there's, like, a billion flying enemies that cover the screen, and there's, like, a whole bunch of, like, it looks like an invading force, basically, and you're running into them. Which I think is kind of cool, that they're really more like background enemies that kind of, like, you know, whoosh by on the screen. But that's really cool. They really do set the stage very well on that intro stage of, like, the chaos and craziness that's going on. And yeah, I don't know, just an excellent intro stage. It's really good. And it has two different intro stage musics, which I think is fantastic. X and Zero are both really good, although I prefer X. And it's a great intro stage. Just a good stage overall. It's a lot of fun.
It's good stuff.
Good stuff.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I hope you like the words intro stage, because X5. I also picked the intro stage, but to break it up, I picked another stage too. Mm-hmm. But let's go through the intro stage real quick, because there's not too much to it. And you have to take Alia out of the equation completely, and then this is a pretty cool stage. You know, you're going through, you're grabbing ropes, you're ducking behind cars that are like turned over while guys are shooting at you. Like, it looks like you just missed a big battle, you know. And then you go into that building that's collapsing. It's like, oh my god, duck, because you can do that now. You know, and then you grab ropes. And then you see
ropes.
You do.
You do. It's just the way you said that. Is just, like, he's just going in to, like, feel the ropes, and he's like, yeah, that's some good rope. And then he carries on with the stage.
That's some good quality rope.
Great for hanging on to. And you see, the ropes in X6 are bad quality rope, because you're always falling off of them to your death. Especially as Zero.
So you get past the good quality ropes, and then you see just the foot of a statue, you know, and you start climbing up this thing, and it, you know, puts into scale, like, how big this statue is.
Oh yeah, I do love that statue. It's super cool.
And then, you know, you go into the boss door, and there's nothing there, and then whoever you're not playing as, you know, whoops in, and they're, like, all beat up, and they're like, yo, man, shit's going down, Sigma's somewhere, I can feel it, you know. And then just the statue starts exploding, and then giant Sigma face comes out. Like, that blew my mind the first time. Like, we're already here? You know?
Yeah, I was, like, really surprised. I'm like, yo, what the hell? Like, what? What is happening?
Yeah, it's crazy just because, like, he's there. He's not wasting any time. And he wanted to lose, you know, like, as a story thing, that's so cool. Because he's like, oh, I'm going to provoke you, and then I'm going to blow up, and then I'm going to spread this virus everywhere.
Imagine you get there, and X is like, you know what, Sigma? I don't want to fight you. And then he just doesn't.
I would put handcuffs on you, but you're a big face.
Where he just hangs them from his nose like a nose ring.
I expected you to be Sigma size, so I brought appropriate cuffs.
That's really funny.
But yeah, it's just cool, and it's got 2 songs, like you said, and I don't know which one I'm more partial to. They're both pretty good. Probably X's.
Yeah, X's kind of feels... You know, it's funny. That stage, I feel like X's music lulls you into a false sense of security because it's kind of pleasant. It just kind of feels like a routine maverick hunting job. Like, he's just kind of like out on patrol in the city, stopping mavericks or whatever. It doesn't feel as desperate as X4 did. Like, X4, the intro music for X felt very like, there's lots of despair. You know, it was very, like, tragic. Like, I feel like that's a musical motif of X4 in general.
Oh,
so that all the music feels very tragic sounding with that weird synth organ they use all the time. But in X5, I feel like it's to kind of show you how pleasant the world is. It's like, hey, everything's good now, you know. I think that was all to kind of give you whiplash when Sigma literally destroys the frickin' world.
Well, I think part of it is because in X4, you're in the middle of, like, a calamity, but in X5, it's like a small thing just happened, and you're, yeah, like you said, you're just basically on cleanup duty.
Yeah, it's just a little response to some mavericks, and then all of a
then
sudden,
boom,
giant Sigma head.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
But, you know, not to just get stuck on intro stages, the other one I picked was Into the Jungle, Spike Rose Red, Axel the Red. All these have so many names. I like the theming of this level, just, you know, it's like just spikes and thorns and stuff everywhere. But the main reason I chose it is because at this point you should have the Falcon armor if you're going in the, you know, recommended, you know, get the cannon parts first, and then get the, you know, if you're doing it that way, then you should have the Falcon armor at this point, and this level is, like, just basically made for that armor, and it's so much fun.
Yeah, I really do like that stage, too. I thought it's kind of a trippy stage, like, just looking at it. It's a very visually interesting stage. Like, when you start, I don't know what you would call these things, but they're giant handguns pointed into the sky in the background?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what that's all about, but it's kind of cool.
Well, it's about guns and roses.
That was the sound of my soul leaving my body. I hate you so much, but I knew this was going to happen. There was no avoiding it. I'm just glad it was you that said it and not me. So, the Guns
Send
and
all
Roses...
your hate mail to me.
Yeah, the stage is... Okay, so this is how meta this game is. Mega Man X5 has a stage whose boss is a rose, and the background is filled with guns. Hence, it is filled with guns and roses. And then, as a coincidence, one of the localizers for Mega Man X5, who this is a true story. I'm paraphrasing here, but this is what I remember to the best of my ability. She was like, the only thing I know about Mega Man is that everyone is named after musical puns. So she thought that applied to everyone, including bosses. And so she looked at all the bosses and then gave them names based off of Guns N' Roses members. Hence, Axel the Red. Instead of Spike Rose Red, which is like his actual proper translated name. She showed this to someone as like a joke, like, haha, what do you think? And they were like, yeah, it's good, it's approved. And then they just went forward with it. So, it's crazy to think that there's a stage that has Guns N' Roses in it, and that coincidentally someone gave all the bosses Guns N' Roses names, and it was accepted.
And the stage is called Into the Jungle, which is very similar to Welcome to the Jungle.
Yes, which is very, very strange. and I don't know if this is an added layer of complexity. I think it's just coincidental. But apparently Keiji Inafune's favorite band is Guns N' Roses. I believe I heard that in an interview somewhere. I could be wrong, but I do know it's one of his favorite bands.
Dude, it's like poetry, so that they rhyme.
It rhymes. Shut up. You know, I was watching episode 1 the other day with my brother, and like it was funny how many things I just remembered and was able to quote offhand. It was just... it was really weird watching this movie that I haven't seen, I don't know, probably like 3 or 4 years, and then just immediately remembering all the lines like I was a freaking actor on set. It's like poetry, it rhymes. Oh,
thanks, George.
God bless you, George Lucas. Come back, we need you. Anyway.
X5.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Moving on. Good stage. I like all the interactive weird bionic plants that do stuff. It's cool. Anyway. Let me see. What do I have next on my list? Well, going on from X5, we're of course going to carry on to X6.
Oh, your favorite.
Yeah, my favorite, of course. I love X6. I tell you what, I actually do really love certain aspects of X6, and one of those aspects is the music. I really love the music in X6. It's super nice. It's very jazzy for some reason, and I kind of like it. I really dig it, man. Very cool, cat. I couldn't pick one stage, which is interesting because I think you had 2 for your X5. I couldn't pick a single stage, so I picked 2 because they're the 2 stages that I play the most often whenever I play X6. And that is Commander Yamark and Rainy Turtleoid stage, which I believe Commander Yamark stage is the Amazon jungle, which is located in the middle of the ocean somewhere based on the map sprites for some reason.
As you do.
Because that's where the mission markers are for whatever reason. And Rainy Turtleoid, which is Inami Temple, which, by the way, I think is a real place. There's, I think it's Inami Prefecture in Japan, I think. It's like a town called Inami, and there's a temple there, but it's not called Inami Temple, so this feels like they just merged the two into one thing. So that's a fun little trivia fact there, that you have there for those. But I really like Commander Yamark. It's very trippy. It kind of reminds me of a Gradius stage, because there's like weird faces carved into the stone all the time. But the stage flow is just very nice. You kind of start off on the top of this like mountain thing, and you go down into this little cave system. The background is really nice. There's like a nice change in enemies to like things that you might find in like a cave, like cave dwelling stuff. Strangely, not that many bats though. But it's kind of neat, and like the music just... It's very like relaxing music, and the stage is oddly relaxing, which doesn't sound like it would make sense for a Mega Man X game, but it just works. It's very like, you know, it gives you this sense of like, you know, beauty of this jungle that you're going through. And I just really like it. And I'm always kind of mystified by like the weird background elements of the stage, like the weird stone heads and stuff, and like the weird Aztec temple that I think is in the background towards the end. And I think there's like a gigantic freaking moon or something at one point. I don't know, it's just all very mysterious and kind of reminds me of like Angel Island Zone from Sonic Adventure. I want to see that stage and the internal lore of that stage be explored. Like, what's going on here? What is this? And I don't know, that's pretty much why I love that stage. Like, it's not super groundbreaking. There's a couple of blind jumps over some spikes, which really suck. But otherwise, I'm just mystified by the stage. I don't know how else to put it.
I like that that the music is really relaxing, because that's generally the stage I like to do first.
Yep, same here.
And, you know, and it's like, okay, it's a good way to ease in, you know, it feels nice, you're in a good mood. It's a pretty, it's a very, very good stage for that game. Like I like both stages that you picked.
Yeah. Speaking of both stages, the second one is the Anami Temple, which I just really love the aesthetic of this one. I mean, personally, looking at it, it's a big freaking temple. If you look at actually how much ground you traverse. But I like the stage music again. Some of my favorite stage music of the entire game. I like the way that the stage looks. I love the Japanese feel to it. I don't really think there's too many stages in Mega Man that actually like feel that way. And I just like the places you go and like the mission there. Like there's like acid rain that's slowly eating away your health, and you have to destroy these thingies which stop like a weather generator. If you just ran through the stage without that, I feel like it would be kind of boring. But it's kind of fun hunting down these like little things to progress to the next room. I kind of like that concept. I think it could be done a little bit better, but I do like the idea of like, okay, you're in a room, you have a time limit, hit all these targets, and then leave. It's like a little Mega Man style break the targets challenge.
Yeah, it's a really fun gimmick. It's definitely one of my favorites.
It's one of the least frustrating gimmicks that we have in X6.
Yeah. Well, all right, I'm gonna push the frustration button, and can we just agree that the nightmare effect in this level's like the worst one? Because this is
God,
a terrible level to have the lights out effect.
It really
so
is.
Bad.
I died so many times because I just could not see where I was shooting at. I'm like, where the fuck is this thing? Or one time I was shooting and I'm like, it definitely should have died by now, only to find out that I was hitting an enemy. And like I couldn't tell that I was hitting the enemy over and over again. He had his
like those,
arm
like,
up
shield
and
guys?
was blocking.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that he was blocking it because I couldn't hear I couldn't hear the sound of the pink because the rain was so loud, and like there was so many other things, and I'm just like, this is just a maddening experience. Like at that point, I wish there was a button I could press to have X lay down in the rain and just dissolve. Like, Jesus Christ. But I don't know. I like the stage. It's kind of fun, and I like. Weirdly enough, I kind of like the ending sequence where you have to hop across the stones to get to the end. I wish they were like actually like stones, like rather than just like chunks of level pieces. It would have been cool if it was like actually like round stones that were intentionally placed in the water as like, as like a decoration that you had to hop across. I think that would have looked a little bit nicer. But I just generally like the flow of the stage. For whatever reason, it just really works for me. There's some weird jank when those like platforms from Mega Man X2 make a return.
Oh, the crayons?
Like, the crayons, and they like intersect at weird points, and like sometimes it crushes you, sometimes it just pushes you off, and then you die. Like,
yeah, that's my only real complaint about the stage.
Yeah,
there's no when we're taking Nightmare out.
Yeah, a little bit of jank at the end with those weird crayons, and the Nightmare effect is the worst one to have on that stage. But it's otherwise a very fun stage. I don't know, I just like the gimmick of it. It also has one of the most difficult but satisfying secrets in it, where there's the really big room that has like the multiple tiers, as if you're in a pagoda, which is cool, because that's what it looks like. Or I'm imagining that's what it's supposed to be on the outside. And then there's like those little tiny corridors with spikes, and you have to like blade armor dash through this tiny little narrow opening. You're gonna die, and it's so like frustrating when you die over and over again. But man, it feels cool when you get through.
Or you could just bait a bat into hitting you and just
that's always true too. But I never
do.
thought to do that as a kid because I wasn't too bright.
I didn't either. When I saw what the blade armor did, I was like, oh, okay, this is what we do.
Yeah, that's what I figured. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be sick, and then I just die over and over again. Woo! Like nothing like bashing your head against a spike at light speed. Oh my god. But yeah, I don't know. Inami Temple, I kind of like it. It's a lot of fun. Again, mostly it's the music. I really like the music. If I had to
set up moods.
If I had to pick a third stage, which... Oh, you know what? Never mind. I don't have to pick a third stage, because that's a stage from X5? No, it is X6. The Laser Institute. Isn't that X6?
Yeah.
I like the Laser Institute. That's another cool stage. But that's a topic for another discussion.
I don't have much to say about that besides I wish the lasers would turn.
Yeah, that's annoying,
But,
but
I'm surprised you didn't say the intro stage, because that's a really good stage in X6.
You know,
Like, that's a solid experience.
I didn't like the intro stage in X6, actually.
Really?
And it's
Okay.
not... It just feels like there was random things attacking you. Like the giant rolling things, I didn't understand that. And the music felt so trippy that I didn't buy it. I was like, what? I feel like I'm on like a really depressing carousel. Like, what is this music? Like,
Well, because the game knows that right through that door is Hymax.
yeah, you're right. They're setting your expectations low. Screw Hymax.
Yeah, but okay.
I don't know. Let's get off X6 and move on to a better game. What comes after 6 again?
I think command mission. So
yeah, I think you're right.
no.
That sounds about right.
So my choice for X7 is Cyberfield, Snipe Antidoor stage. What I love about this stage is that it sucks and you're upside down and it reverses your controls and it's terrible. My real choice is the radio tower, which is Tornado Tunyon. Just a little bit better. And the only reason I picked that stage is because it's in 2D the entire time except for the boss fights. And you just pretty much walk right and you're walking up a tower. It's just like a spiral up and there's like lots of like tic-tac-toes of guys to save. They're just like right there in a row and you just dash through them and then you pick them up.
So what you're saying is the reason why that stage is good is because it's not ball-crushingly difficult.
It's not difficult, and it's over, like, really quickly. So I think that's a huge positive for X7.
Yeah, I guess that's true. You know, I don't even remember anything about that stage. Like, as you're describing it, I have very vague memories. My favorite stage from X7, if I could just chime in for a moment, is the underground mine stage for Vanishing Gungaru. I really like the music in that stage, and you get a variety of right armors in that stage. You get like the one with the giant shoulder cannon. I mean, the right armor in X7 is huge too. It's like really tall.
Yeah, it's really big.
And it has like the stun gun on the shoulder. And then I think later in that stage you get like the crab walker one.
Yeah, the crab one. Yeah,
like I don't know, cool. It's a fun stage. Even in 3D, it's not that terrible. I mean, you're still always in opposition with the game mechanics of X7. But that stage in particular is not that horrible because the right armors kind of make it a fun experience, in my opinion.
Like, I don't like the big right armor. Like, I think it's just way too clunky for me, but the crab one is... The crab one is pretty fun from what I remember. Because you just, like, spin around and hit people with drills and stuff. It's like, alright, I can dig this. As long as I'm not climbing those platforms where all the power-ups are in that stage, when you're fighting all the robots at the end. As long as I'm not wall climbing, I'm okay, I'll take it.
Yeah, exactly. I like the giant one, but I wish the giant right armor did something to counteract how clunky it was. To make it worth it, but it really just... But, I mean, that's just all of X7 in general.
Just why did you... whatever.
Cyber Geometry, though, that stage is really terrible, but the song is pretty good.
Yeah.
I really hated... The one thing I hated about that stage was the constant cyber samurais that you had to fight.
Oh my god. Yeah, and you had to copy them to walk through the walls.
Ugh! Get out of here with that.
It was nasty. And just, like, you go upside down, and you just don't know what to do. And
your controls are, like, completely reversed. And
it's awful.
It's terrible. But that song was really catchy.
Yeah,
I always go back on that song. It's a really catchy song.
X7 is pretty good music.
It has really good music. The Battleship music? The Battleship was another stage that I always play. I like that stage. I like you're fighting a giant battleship. That's cool. And yeah, again, the music, really good. X7 has great music. Go play X7. No, wait. Don't do that. Listen to the soundtrack.
Go play X7 on New Game Plus, and it's marginally better.
That would imply that they have to have beaten the game first.
Get your friend to beat it. Don't tell them what they're playing.
Play it on Rookie Hunter mode on Legacy.
There you go. Yeah, and then just switch over.
Yeah, it'll be a somewhat bearable experience.
It's actually not too bad on Rookie, just because it's just not.
A lot of the jank is compensated for.
Yeah, basically.
All right, I guess that's fine.
It's a band-aid, you know. A very big band-aid, but it's a band-aid. Let's move on to a better game.
Yeah, let's move on to Mega Man X8.
It's our final
choice,
one for the night.
It is. It's going to be the last one. I'm sad. Are we ever going to do another Ramblin Reploids?
Oh, I hope so.
I hope so, too. But anyway, let's move on. So X8, my choice, is Booster Forest, actually. I really like Booster Forest for this one. It's another Ride Armor heavy stage. And it's a good stage on its own, even outside of the Ride Armor. So I like Booster Forest. It's the only stage where you get to actually play with a Ride Armor that I know of. I don't think there's any other ones that have Ride Armors.
I think that's it, yeah.
I think that's the only one, and to commemorate the occasion, they even gave this stage 2 soundtracks. One where you're outside of the Ride Armor, and it just plays like kind of normal, peaceful music. It almost just feels like you're... It's like lobby music. Like you're just sitting in like an empty lobby and there's just ambient music around you. It's very pleasant. And then you get in the Ride Armor and it starts like pumping up the music and it's just like yeah, we're gonna go punch things.
Yeah.
And like I don't know, the music does like a total 180 and you're going through. I love the lore behind the stage, that it's an abandoned rocket factory or something.
How nostalgic.
Yeah, thank you, Lair. Lair comments that it's so nostalgic, like no one uses space rockets anymore, because now orbital elevators are, the technology that is replacing them. There's no need to launch rockets into space when you could take an elevator ride up to space, which I assume probably required lots and lots of rockets being launched to get there in the first place. Mm-hmm. But it's cool. It's like a weird combination of like nature taking over an old base, which is neat. And I just really like that idea. I like that there's stuff to do in and out of the Ride Armor, and there's like a neat dynamic where it's like you have to bring the Ride Armor with you to the end, but keep it alive, and there's lots of switching places. Like putting it on a conveyor belt, making it go somewhere, and then following it in the background of the stage, and stuff like that. Like, it's kind of cool. Yeah, that's another thing. You can go into the background of the stage on this one. The secret at the end is that if you get the Ride Armor to this one very specific platform, you can go in it, and then it takes you into the back of the stage, which is cool. Like, I don't think there's ever been a Mega Man game that actually does that, which is neat. It's a little frustrating if you don't know what you're doing, but it is still kind of a neat concept, and with some polish, I think it would have been really good. But I don't know, just overall, I like Booster Forest. I like that you can fight Vile in a Ride Armor. You can, if you fight him on that stage, you can bring the Ride Armor all the way to the end and fight Vile in a Ride Armor and, like, get even with him. Like, that's really cool. I don't know, man. Any stage that lets you have total freedom with a Ride Armor is good in my book. Like, how in X2, and all of them, really, you can get a Ride Armor, bring it to a point, and then you can't bring it any further. But this stage is like, no, you can take it to the end if you want. I think you can even get it to fight the boss. Like, you can get it to the stage boss. I've never done that myself, but it's really cool that you can. I'm pretty sure you can do that if you like. There's like boxes at the end, and if you break them in a specific order, it's like a puzzle. You can climb them to get to the end, which, I don't know, it's such a cool idea. So yeah, Booster Forest, that's my pick. I like Booster Forest.
That stage is one, like, it's frustrating to get all the things. Because even if you know what to do, it's just one little mistake and you gotta start all over.
Yeah.
But that's more the fault of the Ride Armor and not the level itself. Like, I love the concept. I love the theming and everything. It's really cool. It's just the big old clunky Ride Armor trying to create stairs, and then just one missed punch, and you're like, exit. Cygnus told me I did a good job.
Yeah.
Go back in. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's a fault on the Ride Armor and not the level itself, so I shouldn't be so harsh.
Yeah, that's, unfortunately, like, yeah. I kind of wish there was more chances and you don't just lose the right armor, but like that's pretty much how it goes. If you see, it's one of those things where you have to kind of have to do it in like one go and like perfect the stage, you know?
Yeah.
But other than that, it's fun. And if you're not going for 100%, it's still a good experience.
Yeah. Yeah, I was really expecting Jacob from that. I guess just hearing that level just really threw me for a loop.
It did, because I did have Jacob Elevator put there before, but that was a mistake, and I didn't mean to put that there. I was thinking of like music that I really liked, and I picked Jacob Elevator because I really like the Jacob Elevator music.
Okay. It's a good song. It's the best song.
Yeah, it's probably one of the best songs. But yeah,
Shadowrock, where you at?
Yeah. But basically, I went back and I fixed it to like, oh yeah, best overall level. I'm not just picking music. Coincidentally, the stages that had the best music, in my opinion, were also the stages that were like the best. Were also just the best in general. So I was going off of music at first, and then I was like, well, what about best overall? And then I was like, yeah, actually, these all pretty much line up, except for Jacob Elevator. The Jacob Elevator is just an elevator. That's all it is.
I kind of like that. It's like a beat 'em up, but also makes
yeah, it's like the beat 'em up elevator stage. And what's kind of cool is you actually look in the background and you could see yourself leaving Earth, which I think is a neat detail. So it's not really boring, but it's just like, it's not visually boring, but there's really nothing else going on in the stage. It's just a survival stage. But yeah, Booster Forest. I think it's cool.
Yeah, it's a
neat
it's a better stage than I personally give it credit for. I can admit that.
I mean, yeah, it all really depends, you know. It's better than some of the Ride Chaser stages. I'll tell you what. Oh
yeah.
I mean, the Ride Chaser stages are almost fun, and then they get their fingers around your neck and they just choke you to death. And they're just like, you are gonna suffer.
Maybe we'll have a separate list for these types of things.
Yeah, maybe.
I have a feeling we will.
Probably.
But yeah, that's more than 8 stages for 8X games. This was fun.
Yeah, it definitely was. I liked talking about these and trying to analyze why certain stages, you know, are favorites or not. And it's a lot that goes into it. It's not always just like, how does the stage play, although that is a big part of it. Like Flame Mammoth stage, I think, has a really good path through it. It's a lot of fun. It's also a matter of, is the music any good? Is the in-game lore behind it any good? Is it visually interesting? There's a lot that goes into it.
Oh yeah, definitely. But what are some of your favorite levels? If you want to go above and beyond, pick one favorite level from each game like we did.
Yeah, absolutely. I would go through each game, pick your favorite level, and then post it down in the comments below. Let us know. And if there's any special reasons why you like some of those stages, tell us, because I would love to see why you guys pick the stages that you do. Do you agree with us? Do you not agree with us? Let us know. All of it is good.
Yep. And I think with that, that'll do it for us today.
Yes, I do believe this concludes today's ramble. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe, and all that other stuff you're supposed to do on YouTube. And yes. I guess we'll see you guys in the next one.
Yep. Take it easy.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Hey, thanks for watching. Big thanks to Dunno, SilBee, Sigma, Dornor, Masterman, Giovanni, and the rest of our supporters. I hope you enjoyed. Subscribe if you haven't already, and be sure to join us next time.